Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and my fellow Titans, we are absolutely back, baby. In episode Revenant for Destiny 2, Titans are getting not only some pretty major buffs, but also an overhaul of sorts that sounds absolutely insane. For the first time in Destiny history, we will get a taunt mechanic, and I cannot wait to see how this works in game. If it's as effective as it seems, I'm going to main this tank role playstyle because it is right up my alley. And honestly, I haven't played a ton of Destiny recently, but this is something that could absolutely bring me back. Now, that might not be the case for everybody, but I am really looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. So, if you missed it, we are getting the ability to taunt enemies with the Titan Barricade. The Titan Barricades now taunt enemies in front of the barricade. It only occurs when a player is standing behind the barricade. The Titan's Unbreakable Shield and Sentinel Shield also taunt enemies. So while it may lead to a more static playstyle at times, I feel like the Unbreakable Shield is what I'm going to be leaning into. I will absolutely be making some builds with it because it sounds like it could be really cool with some exotic class item perks that could synergize really well with the Unbreakable Shield. And yeah, this is something that I've been waiting for. It also seems like we might get the taunt with Ward of Dawn in the future as well, which would be bananas, and finally hopefully make that relevant again because it hasn't been very useful in recent memory. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all works. I'll definitely try it out not only with Prismatic, but also with the standard Void subclass as well. Now, sometimes your taunt won't necessarily work if an enemy is going towards a specific objective, but otherwise it does feel like they are going to be taunted fairly often. So it does have some enemy information there that'll kind of adjust depending. So hopefully it's strong enough to attract the majority, if not all, of the enemies. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this actually plays out. Now, to support the Titan's new aggro lifestyle, they're making some adjustments. Towering Barricade and Rally Barricade reduce non-boss combatant damage to the barricade by 50%, increase splash damage reduction to 60%, and barricades now grant moderate damage resist versus combatants during cast animation, so essentially you'll be tankier when casting it. I've seen far too many people die in the midst of the cast of their barricade, so hopefully that doesn't happen in the future. Unbreakable. Damage blocked by Unbreakable now generates grenade energy, which is fantastic. Increased max duration. The shield can be held. Forward movement speed now slows down briefly when the shield is shot. So essentially, you're just a walking tank. Reduce Unbreakable's throw attack damage versus players by 20%. That's only versus players. Increase damage bleed through from players by 15%. This is to make it not be OP in PvP. And fully charged Unbreakable attacks will now one-shot barricades in PvP, except when the barricade is under the effects of Heart of Inmost Light. Now they're also buffing Void Overshield, increase Void Overshield PvE damage resist from 50 to 70%, and increases maximum effective HP from 90 to 150, which is crazy and very nice. You can really be the tank, and I think that's good because it does feel like the different subclasses, the different classes were losing their roles in recent time. They didn't feel like their original purposes were being fulfilled. The Titan didn't feel as much of a tank. The Warlock didn't feel like the Mage. Glass Cannon and the Hunter didn't feel like the stealthy enough. They were doing a lot of everything and not enough of the specialization that I really like when the classes can shine. Now, some other buffs that are huge. Consecration got a buff. Diamond Lance, Knockout. Melee kills now cancel health and shield stun, in addition to healing, allowing you to immediately start regenning, which is crazy. So, this is a revert of a previous nerf, so that's fantastic. Shiver Strike got a buff. And while not specifically Prismatic Titan only option, the nerf to Faceted Commands cooldown was moved to 11 seconds. 11 seconds felt too long, so they moved it from 11 to 4 seconds, which is pretty crazy. Titan Unpowered Melee increased damage against players by 5%, against PvE combatants by 20%, and increased the stun multiplier. So all of that is really exciting for me personally. We also got some other adjustments like the Glacial Quake, Twilight Arsenal, throwing action projectiles now more consistently track, which is awesome. Increased the axe relic damage versus combatants by 23%. So you're going to be encouraged to use the axe, which is great. Increased base detonation damage of Thunder Crash by 33%. Fist of Havoc, increased damage resist. Changed how the light attack works under the hood to improve consistency, hitting targets, which is amazing, and slightly increased light attack lunge and ability to target enemies vertically. We also got a few buffs for warlocks and hunters as well, but to be honest, I'm not really going to be talking about those. We also got some nerfs to hunter, especially in PvP, on top of the ones we recently got as well. But for the most part, I just wanted to talk about my Titans because for a long time recently, it's felt like they haven't had a role to play in a lot of content. It's felt like you could get by with all hunters, all warlocks, and while you can do most of the content in the game with Titans, they're not precluded from that. It did feel like they were lagging behind. So I'm really looking forward to these changes and seeing how it affects not only the playstyle of everybody, but also how much people will be looking forward to jumping back into the game and trying them out. I am honestly pretty excited about episode Revenant. I think the downtime playing other games has me reinvigorated to jump back into Destiny content with some of these buffs, with some of the new changes that we're getting to Revenant and other content, with a dungeon likely to be on the way sooner than later, which is very exciting. We know that's dropping early on in episode Revenant, which is awesome. And my favorite weapon of all time in Destiny 1, Icebreaker, coming back as well. All of that leads me to be really hyped about what we are seeing with Destiny, although my expectations are also tempered to a degree because I understand that while the game is fun, a lot of people have moved on, and it's one of those games that really shines when you're able to play with friends. So I do hope a lot of people that I know and game with are able to jump back in and play the game as well, and at least give it a chance. I think I'm one who, whenever they release new content will always jump back into the game, no matter how it is, just to see how I like it, and then make my own judgment from there and not let anyone else's opinion sway me, because at the end of the day, if I'm having fun, that's all that matters. And I hope you take the same kind of thought process with regards to Destiny 2 as well. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. As always, comment and let me know, are you jumping back in for episode Revenant? Are you a Titan main as well who is excited to see these changes? What's the first build and archetype kind of setup that you're going to be looking forward to running? My name is Jopa. Have a good one. I'll catch you all later.